what we are really trying to sell to our clients is the ability to make something really make sense and sing to them. One of my favorite projects we ever did was we did a lot of work for the NFL Players Association right around the last negotiation for the contract. And what we did is we were hired to help them with the injury information and to process all that injury data and figure out where were the most dangerous plays and what was the actual cost to the players of an extra game or an extra 2 games or things like that. And so we did this really interesting work, and we found out, and I kind of hate to take credit for part of this, but we found out the most dangerous play in football is the kickoffs, because what's happening, both ends are running and they're going full speed ahead, and that's what the data suggests the most injuries occur. Not surprising in retrospect, but not obvious before.
Right. I wouldn't think that.
Right. So one of the things they did in part based on our studies, that's why they moved the kickoffs back.
Really?
Yes. And so that was kind of cool, and so that's kind of a neat thing where we got to do something that had a lot of, practical interest, but it was data driven, which was pretty cool. And so I just love that kind of stuff where we can help in interesting contexts. That's kind of what makes our job so much fun. It's critical. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to be able to tell the story with the data. Now, that, as I said, it's not about making the data fit the story. It's kind of the reverse, right? It's what is the data telling us? Okay, let's sort of see what that story emerges. So again, it's I never imagined this is exactly what I'd be doing. I thought I was going to be an economics professor the rest of my life when I was in school, right? But the fun part of what we do is just, as I said, finding insights in places where people, might not expect them and being able to give real practical use for data. I mean, one of the biggest frustrations I think companies have with their data is they don't know how to get any answers out of them. I've got all this data and it's not speaking to each other, and I got a question, but it's not talking to me. What do I do, right? Because data doesn't come ready to use. And so that's why it is so important that there be a process where what is the question you're asking? All right. What data sets do you have at your disposal that would be useful for that? What's the best technique to sort of get to the data? What is the preliminary data showing us? All right, now that we're into the data, what else do we need? You've got to be organized and systematic about it. But the focus on asking the right question will always lead to the best answer. You don't focus on the question up front. I don't want you to just sort of start. I mean, the number of clients I also have are like, okay, well, we're just going to send you all our data tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Stop. Won't do that. Let's talk about what you want to accomplish. Let's talk about the kind of data you have. And, sometimes that requires patience. You've got to kind of educate clients about that. But that's a big part, I think, of what a good data person does, is they're there to assess, think through carefully, and make sure we understand what the data is going to show us.
Thank you so much for checking out this clip from the Data Talk podcast. To watch the full episode, you can either go to the Experian blog. The URL is experian.com/datatalk, or you can click on the link, which is found in the description of this video.